Today we're going to be talking about your everyday carry or work bag. Okay, so probably the most important part of your everyday carry gear, if you work outside of your home, is going to be your everyday carry bag. It's usually going to be a lightweight bag that can carry your gear, carry your lunch, whatever, as well as have some important survival gear in it. You might want to carry a first aid kit. You may work in an office. You may get a cut, If you've ever worked in an office and you've looked through their first aid kit, you can find that most of the time it's either been raided or is severely lacking important stuff. So stuff like that. You may want to carry adapters for your laptops or for whatever gear you use at work. In my particular situation, I work part-time in a gun shop, and this gun shop has two locations, one of which is here in town, and one of which is located on a training site about 25 miles from my home. So a bag like this comes in handy in both situations. We're going to tear into it in a minute, but I want to go through a few do's and don'ts to start you off with some bag ideas. You don't want to go too tactical now. I know you're looking at this going, what are you talking about? This bag here fits in my environment. I work in a gun shop. Everybody else in there has a bag similar to this. I work sometimes out on a range. They have a bag similar to this. So I wasn't too worried about that. But if you work in a professional setting and you come in with one of these with, your MOLLE attachments, MOLLE attachments all over it, and magazine pouches hanging off, you're probably going to be looked at as a little bit odd. So basically buy a bag that fits your environment. Again, we're trying to do the gray man concept here. We're trying not to stick out. If I went in with an old beater $5 Walmart backpack, I'd probably stick out in my particular situation. So choose the bag that's right for you. You don't want to overload your bag with gear. You got to haul it around all day, so you don't want to have stuff in there that you'll never use. I suggest, like I do, this goes with me if I'm out, let's say, at the range, and I'm selling whatever out at the range in their location out there. This bag goes with me, but I also have a full supply of gear and equipment in my vehicle that stays in my vehicle at all times. This is more of an on-site type thing, okay? Don't limit yourself to a shoulder bag. I used to carry, basically it looked like a big range bag, and it had a handle. And, after a while, it started filling up with junk, and maybe I'll need this, maybe I'll need that. So I went to a smaller thing that can be used as a backpack. You don't have to use a backpack. Again, it's what works for you. Don't limit yourself to just a shoulder bag. Don't limit yourself to a backpack. Find out what's most convenient for you. For me, this is great. My hands are free. I strap it over my shoulders. If I'm carrying money to a register, if I'm carrying, product into the store that I have to deliver, it's awesome for me. Okay? Now, you don't want to pack for war unless you're going to work in a war zone. Okay? You probably don't need 300 rounds of ammo and 45 magazines. Generally, my firearms and weapons we carry in the store openly, and we carry at the shop openly out, at the range. So, all that stuff's already on me. I may toss an extra box of ammo in there, but I wouldn't bring, say, 10 AR mags and an AR in another bag. It would look out of place, it would look wrong, and it's another thing to lug around all day, and it's a liability because if somebody steals it, you're out your gun, and somebody has a gun that probably shouldn't have it. Moving on to that, don't carry stuff you'll never use. I'm kind of guilty of this sometimes. I look at it and think, but that one time that I'll need it and I won't have it. You don't need it. Chances are you probably have something else in your bag that can improvise. I used to carry an extra set of shoelaces. And thought to myself one day, why on earth would you carry a set of shoelaces? You already carry paracord. Instant bootlaces. So don't just load it up with stuff that you think, what if I need this one day? What if I need that? Take what you probably use every day. If you see something in your bag and you haven't used it for a couple of months, maybe you want to take it out. Make it lighter for you to carry around every day. Don't just make it a survival bag, okay? This is an everyday carry bag. You want room in it to throw in your lunch, to throw in some paperwork, maybe to throw in a product that you're going to be taking out to a different location. I can put a tablet in this bag. You never know what you're going to want to carry. So don't just make it a packed, small, tight little survival bag that you can't fit anything else in. This is going to be your work bag too. If I want to toss a bottle of water and my lunch in there, a sandwich or something, I can do that with this. Okay. Something you want to pack in there. We'll get onto this in a minute and I'll show you what's in the bag. You want water in there. You can do a water bottle. That's what I have in there. It's heavy, but it's handy when you can't get it anywhere. Okay, food. Depends on your environment. If you work in an office and you carry your lunch with you every day, you can probably throw in a couple extra Cliff bars, a couple extra energy bars. Me, I have a couple of Field Strip MRE entrees in this one. Mainly for the reason of what if I forget my lunch? When I work out at the range, I usually leave here by 5:30 in the morning. Sometimes I'm not necessarily all that awake. I may forget my lunch. I have something to eat if I do. Okay, fire. I have a couple of Bic lighters in here. I also have a fire starter, a rod, and a magnesium scraper. Cash. I keep about $100 in smaller bills wrapped up in there. Cash comes in handy. I see people buying sodas with their debit cards, and I think to myself, if you had to buy a bottle of water and the power was out, how would you do that? That's why I keep cash. I also keep a roll of quarters in there because even though they're few and far between, payphones can come in handy when the cell network's down. Sometimes they work when the cell networks don't. Shelter. I would use my vehicle as a shelter. I do have a plastic tarp in there. You don't really need something like that if you work close to home. It all depends. If I'm working at the store, it's literally 2 miles up the road from me. I can walk home. I'm not going to be camping a mile from home, So for me, it doesn't work. But yeah, for you, you may work 40 miles away. You may want to stick a small tent in there, a small backpacking tent, even a small tube shelter like I have. Medicines and first aid. Okay. If you take a daily medication, if you're on something for cholesterol or blood pressure or whatever, you have heart pills, but make sure you put a few in your bag. You may carry them every day. You may think, I never forget my heart medication, and you get to work that one day and you start having chest pains and you look at your key ring and maybe it isn't on your key ring in your little pill holder, or maybe you ran out or you forgot it. Always throw a few extra things in there. This time of year, my sinuses kill me, so I throw a few extra allergy medicines in there for me. Okay. Hygiene, that's pretty simple. For me, hygiene comes down to baby wipes. I get filthy at times. We'll be in the shop cleaning guns that come in to be sold on consignment. We'll be out at the range running around in the dirt, delivering ammo sometimes. It's a dusty, hot, dirty environment. So, baby wipes are great. Something like that is perfect for you. You don't want to go overboard and start stocking, soap and water, unless your particular place has some places have locker rooms where you can go and change. Then that adds a whole nother dimension to your everyday carry bag. I would say put a flashlight in there. I have a small flashlight in there. It's a real cheap one I picked up at AutoZone. If I lose it, I don't care. But I do carry a Surefire on my person, along with a firearm and extra magazines. And, I have a Leatherman. I would say a Leatherman, but I carry one with me all the time. Cell phone headset. You may want to have a conversation while you're on the run. Conversation you don't necessarily want to have to yell and everybody hear the other side. You may want to listen to news. And you may not want the whole world to know about it. So what I do is I have a pair of stereo headphones, and I also have a very small AM/FM radio just for information gathering. But I have to say, on the 11-hour days where I'm out 25 miles from home, it comes in handy in my office there. Duct tape. You definitely want some duct tape. You can do many ways to, you can choose many ways to store it. You don't have to put a big, huge roll of duct tape in there. You can do a small roll around a credit card. I use a loyalty card from one of the stores here. I just wrap the duct tape around it. And again, we said small radio. I got a small radio in there. You also want to bring maybe, if like in my situation, I work in a gun shop. Sometimes I'm required to do very minor armorer type tasks on guns, take them down, clean them, whatever. I might need to clean my own. I have tools in there for that. So electric backups, electronic backups. All of us, if we, people like to say cell phones will have no use after an emergency. Well, honestly, I can't see all of that being true sometimes. I know after 9/11, the only way people could get messages to their family was via text message. It's not necessarily something you want to overlook. So always have a charger, always have a few spare cords, whatever else you might need in that situation. All right. Another thing, Sharpie markers. They come in handy. Now for my job, they really come in handy because I'm always marking boxes. I'm always writing things down. People will order ammo for us for a class, and I'll have to write their name on it or whatever. And I have a big, huge, I call it my graffiti marker. It's enormous. It's a big, huge black Sharpie. But it also can mark where you've been. It can mark, you can leave messages for people. Had to close early, power was out. If somebody comes to the door, it's handy to have. Okay, I'm going to stop the video for a sec. I'm going to bring the bag a little closer. I'm going to tear in and take a look at what's in the bag. All right, so let's go a quick little tear in here, and we'll do a quick little tear, and I'll show you what's in the bag. First off, you notice this on top here. There's a little solar panel. See a little blue light? This is a battery bank for my cell phone. I have the cables in this packet right down here, but this will recharge my cell phone. This will tell me the level. This can be charged by a plug using the smaller mini USB. And this is where you plug in your USB to plug it into your phone. It will charge from a wall or it will charge from the sun. Being that I work outside a lot, this comes in handy. I'm not always near a power cord. And I think I got this, believe it or not, at Walgreens. It's a Soulmate. I think it was $15. It's charged mine and many other cell phones out at the range. Okay. Whoops, I'm bumping into the camera. Let me move it back. Let me pull this back out here for you to show you what's going on inside here. Now, I'm really bad with brand names. I buy something, and I may not remember the brand name of it. I'd have to look it up. So if you have any questions, like if I show you a certain pack or a certain something and you don't know what it is, feel free to ask in the comments. I always forget brand names. I had to remind myself that this was a Condor pack. I didn't even know. And yeah, I wasn't going to spend a fortune on a pack that I bang around at work. So we're going to start up here. Up here, I have a couple of microfiber cloths and my reading glasses wrapped in there. Here's the plug that I was telling you about. Just plug the USB in there, and here's the cable. And a bunch of notes for work with passwords and stuff like that. I also have the radio in here. This is a small AM/FM radio in a bag with a little headset. Good for gathering information. I do have my ham radios with me. Sometimes I'll bring my HT with me, but it's handy to have. Nothing gets information quicker than an AM news station when you're out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, put that back in there and move on to the next pack. Down here, this is my first aid section. Let me move this back so you can see it. That's my first aid section down here. I'm going to open it up and give you a quick run through of what's in it. Some gauze, gloves, and some alcohol pads and some Q-tips. The Q-tips are kind of multifunction. They could use to be clean guns, or I could use them to clean a wound. Triangular bandage, some Dramamine. Mainly, that's not for me, that's for my wife. This is a little first aid kit I bought in Walmart. It says it has 12 pieces and it features the little Silox granules. I have greatly upgraded it. I've put in some Aleve and some extra stuff. Even a little thing of crazy glue for sealing up some bad wounds. So what I do with first aid kits is I buy them, tear them apart, and upgrade them. So this I like the way it kind of fit in there. It was kind of neat shape. So that sits in there. I also have a full-size Quick Clot sponges, 2 of them. I work around firearms. Somebody's bound to get hurt one day. So you never know. Little packets of burn gel, Blistex, odds and ends stuff. Some Band-Aids. Some more alcohol wipes. Alcohol wipes really come in handy. I'm going to try to tilt this down because I see that I'm not getting everything in camera. There we go. All right, got the Israeli bandage. Millions of uses for it. We've got compressed gauze. Use it in conjunction with one of these quick clot sponges, and you'll be able to seal up a wound fast enough to get it to some medical attention. And I got Rolaids, I got a pen, I got some EMT shears in there, small ones. I have a couple of N95 masks that are really thin. Some surgical sponges. You know, nothing, I didn't go overboard on it. I do have a small tourniquet in there. It's not a cat tourniquet. It came with a kit, and I didn't really like it, so I put it in here. And I've tested it. It's not the best tourniquet in the world, but it'll do the job in an emergency. All right, I'm gonna stuff this stuff back in here and move on to the next section. The only reason I'm doing that is because I hate to sit here and have to stuff it all in here later. But yeah, your first aid kit doesn't need to be as advanced as mine is. Like I said, I work around firearms all day. You never know. I mean, our place could get robbed. Somebody could get hurt. I could get hurt. We work with, you know, we sell ammo to a training facility where there's a lot of new students. The training facility is extremely safe, but there's always the chance for an accident. So having stuff like that can really save your butt in an emergency. I'm going to get into the top here. This in here is my fire. I have my little magnesium bar and can't get it out of there. And my little chipper that will chip off pieces and make sparks. I have a very cheapo weapons light. I don't normally carry one on it, but this was a like a $15 one at the gun show in Vegas. I have it locked out just because I don't want to turn it on and off. But, you know, again, I don't want to lose. I'm not going to take my Surefires and leave them in here. Maybe my bag will get stolen and I'm out $100. This was, you know, cheap. Got some hand sanitizer. There's my big ghetto graffiti marker. A little bit of frog lube, a little bit of Seal One, a couple of patches. Here is my handy dandy toolkit. This thing has disassembled more guns than I care to think about. It's got a little hammer, bore inspection, a knife sharpening steels, and pins and punches and screwdrivers. And a little mini multi-tool. Very handy for my particular situation. If you're working in an office where you're dealing with computers all day, you'll probably need a different toolkit. Okay, this knife here. This knife here was given to me by a friend who passed away rather young. He was a diabetic and he ended up just dropping one night. I forget exactly the cause of it, but it got to him really bad one night and he died in his sleep. But he made this knife, so kind of liked it. I didn't want to use it for anything. And then I said, well, you know what? I use a knife at work all the time and I don't want to dull my carry knife or beat the heck out of my multi-tool, so this is my box opener. I reparkerized it. It was painted. So I sandblasted it, parkerized it, put a really nice edge on it, made a Kydex sheath for it, and I'll wear this around my neck when I got boxes to open nonstop. You know, I'll be opening cases of ammo at a time, so it's handy to have. Little cleaning kit. It's got some CLP and some lubricant and a little red rag. It's all wrapped up in there, so if it leaks, it doesn't make a mess. And on the bottom, I got a bunch of various batteries. CR123s for my everyday light, and some AA's and AAA's for the radio. Okay, back here. This is my big open pocket. Now, this does have some personal hygiene items. Like I said, I got my baby wipes, and I got some DEET for bug repellent because we get bugs out there. Water purifier, stuff like that. But I still have tons of room, and as you can see, I got a couple of bars and a couple of field stripped MREs in there. And my water bottle. Tons of room to put a sandwich in here, some paperwork for work, whatever. Headlamp, because we do work in the dark sometimes, especially in the early mornings and in the winter when it gets dark at 4:30 out here. So it's handy to have. Paracord, like I said, paracord laces, who knows. Little sewing kit, you know, if your clothing rips while you're at work. Handy to have. And finally, lighter. And I think I have I have a whistle in here too. And a little This really isn't necessary, but it's kind of neat. It's a collapsible cup. And it folds up like that. So if your water's out, everything's out, or you got to put something in here. You know what I've actually used this for in the past is on the top here for holding small pins and gun parts. And yes, I have washed it out since then. So anyway, that's about it. That's the basic kit. You know, yeah, I got the field stripped MREs back here. Got some grain bars, bottle of water. It's all pretty simple. I don't really go overboard with it. You'll notice I have this little thing on the end here. This is a glow stick. I don't know, actually, you've probably seen these on YouTube and in the survival community. Basically under light. Let's see if it'll work. Let me turn off the light and see if it glows. Yeah, it glows. I got the light on the camera, but you can see it kind of glows. It glows really bright, and if it's in some... I can shine my Surefire on that for about 10 minutes and have some decent light with it. And a little carabiner, because it always comes in handy. This does have a hydration bladder area, but I've never really seen the need to do that. So I have my bottle of water in there should I need it. So anyway, that gives you a little idea for your work bag. Again, everything's going to be very subjective. It's going to be subject to what you use in your work environment. Do you work in an office? Do you work in the field? Do you work out of your truck all day? Are you a truck driver? You know, maybe you'll have a bigger bag because you're not carrying it around all the time. You're staying over somewhere. So it's pretty subjective and it's up to you. But this bag itself, the gear in this bag, the bag is fairly new. Like I said, I was carrying a different one before. But this bag has saved my butt a few times, you know. Nothing life or death, but it just comes in handy a lot. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or any information on where I got certain products or anything like that, just ask in the comments. I'll try my best to answer. I do work from home 99% of the time. I only work part-time outside of the house. So I'm home a lot. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like. Don't forget to tell your friends about the channel. If you have any requests for future videos, I'll try my best to do them. I have an unlimited access pretty much to most of the new stuff on the market gun-wise, so I can always do a video in the shop and show some new products off. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching.